Happy Accountability Friday. You know, we're shooting these beforehand, so I don't know if I can say that if it's not on Friday, but have an awesome special guest here, Mr. Mike McRae, in from T-Town, Toledo.
Howdy.
We have a lot of things to talk about today. He is competing tomorrow in his first bodybuilding show.
First show.
Probably
last, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how tomorrow goes, and we have some fun stuff to go over today. We're gonna give a little bit of Mike's background, kind of how he found me, training with Zach, Mike's powerlifting career and his numbers, kind of hopefully some things he wants to accomplish moving forward, and then kind of get into the nitty gritty of the bodybuilding prep. So hopefully some good stuff to chat about. But today, so actually, first, Mike, I want you to before you intro. I want you to tell everyone what the email you just got. So this has been the craziest. Bodybuilding, I guess, prep.
So tomorrow is my first show, and I'm supposed to be doing my first ever tan in 4 hours. And the email we just got from the meet director literally minutes ago, breaking news, was that the hotel has decided that we cannot do the spray tans at the hotel, and we have a new location to go to. So, I guess we're just going to roll with it, and there's nothing we can do about it. So I got to go to the hotel, do my polygraph, make sure that I'm not juicing. I'm not. And then we'll go, hopefully not far. They gave us the address, and do my tan. And then I have to drive back. I'm not happy about that I have to drive having just got my tan. Yeah. I've never had a tan before. I'll have my long clothes on like I'm supposed to. And so, still waiting for a schedule for tomorrow. I know it's been kind of crazy, lots of ads and drops, they said. So, my plan is I'm showing up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for check-in, and
just going to roll with it.
10 o'clock is showtime.
Just going to roll with it. Yeah,
it's nothing I can do about it now.
Mike's show, too, it's the first I've seen this happen. So natural shows, too, just backtrack a little bit, there's polygraphs. So
got to take a polygraph.
Yeah, lie detector test. Here's the truth. I hope no one who's taking drugs is jumping into natural shows, but this is a way to scare people. I think it's also a way to make. How much did it cost again, Mike?
$60.
That's what I want to talk a lot about today. Cost of these things.
Yeah.
Too,
now my wife's gonna see this and know how much I spent to get ready. So
listen, I just want to be transparent with people because bodybuilding is expensive.
Yeah, it's been surprising how expensive it is. I guess powerlifting was expensive, but I don't have to buy anything else unless I want new wraps or a new belt. Sure. But that's one-time capital cost versus bodybuilding. So for the show, I had to register for the organization.
How much is that?
I think it was 110.
Okay.
Right. So
that's to be part of. So this is the OCB.
Yeah, the OCB to just compete in the show. Right. You had to show your membership, and then I registered for the show. And when we talked, we did. I'm doing 3 divisions. So open, I think it's called novice or debut for first timers, and then masters for men over 40. Shout out to all the masters.
Yeah, Mike, how old are you?
I am 45.
Yep. All right. Mike full time does what? And is also a dad.
My day job.
And a husband.
My day job. I am an emergency physician.
Yeah. So Mike is
work full time in the ER, and I'm also a residency faculty for the Mercy St. Vincent's training program in Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, I think I have a wife and 2 kids. My son just finished his freshman year at UT, go Rockets, and my daughter just finished her junior year of high school and is looking at schools now. Yeah, so thanks for making me sad.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So anyway, back to the show.
Yes.
So registered for 3 divisions, and I think because of that, adding extra cost to each division, that was 180. Right, so we're there.
For extra classes cost more.
And then had to pay for the spray tan, which was $175.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then because I'm a rule follower, bought all the recommended skincare products. So as my wife and daughter are quite amused, the amount of things that I have in the shower versus my wife that still just has good old Pert Plus.
You have to shave before bodybuilding.
Yeah, no.
Body hair hides definition.
Did the shave yesterday?
More or less. Full body shave.
Thanks to my wife
for the
oh my gosh, for the rest that I can't reach. I've never shaved my legs, never shaved my arm in my life until last week. I did a test run just to see how it would feel. I shaved my chest for the first time ever a couple months ago.
I made Mike do it early.
In February, just to get a sense of what that would feel like. Not a fan. I mean, I'm a Scotch Irishman. I'm pretty hairy, I guess. So, I don't know. That said, coming into the summer, maybe I'll keep it. But It's weird. So there was that cost plus the, like $60 on Amazon for a bunch of different skincare products. It was probably more than that. And then the polygraph, $60. And then 2 nights in the hotel because I'm staying tonight, the night before the show, and then obviously tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
I know I'm going to be tired and shouldn't be driving home anyway because we got plans for after the show.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
so all that told. And the trunks. Trunks is a loose term. Bikini. Speedo, banana hammock.
Mr. McSexy.
Yeah,
All right.
Dr. McSexy.
Dr. McSexy. Yes.
So that was $60. So, I mean, all told, I mean, we're closing on $1,000.
Yeah, closing.
I mean, plus, just my monthly training with Zach.
Yeah.
Which, is coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. We'll talk a little bit about that. Yeah, Mike and I are about to hit like almost our 100th week of
That's right.
online training together. This is our 4th competition we've done together, right?
4th in person, yeah. So our first was the 2021 Turkey Classic Corey's online.
Yes.
And that was my first time with actually somebody that knew what they were doing.
Was I there in person for that, Mike?
No. You were live by
that's,
phone.
That's right.
Because you were training clients.
That's right.
And it was like, we kind of had a game plan. Because I had done Corey's online meet once before. And then every spring and fall had done the online garage gym competition. This is the first year I haven't done that.
That's right.
Because it was last week. And I thought about just, should I squat, bench, and deadlift the bar just to get in the raffle? And I honestly just forgot. And I woke up Monday morning and was like, crap, that yesterday was the last day to do that. But
That's
anyway.
right. I do remember that.
So, yeah, that first meet, right around Thanksgiving of 21, it was like the first time actually playing attempts as opposed to I'm just going to keep adding 10 more pounds until I fail, and then I'll count that as my lift. So actually, having, an opener and a second lift and, maybe shooting for a third lift, and I would either text you or call you if you were with a client and say, all right, this is what I got. And you're like, all right, go up, or nope, do what we planned. And so we did that kind of all morning. But then first in-person meet was January of 22.
That's right.
That was the USPA Glass City Grand Prix.
Do you remember your numbers?
Sure. So I competed in the 242 class. I think I weighed 230. Just show up and weigh in.
Yeah, my first suggestion, if you're ever going to compete, don't cut. Just walk in, train, right?
Yeah. So squat was 383, which was a PR. Bench was, I showed up, 192. Yep. And then deadlift, though, was my first time ever even attempting 400, and I got 403.
Yeah, I remember that. I was so hyped.
And I remember the warm-up for deadlifts. I mean, that morning was just, thank God Zach was there. Credit to Zach. He drove up from Columbus to Toledo. And I probably would have missed my squat opener if you weren't there. And by miss, I mean, not been ready for it. Yep. It was, as you said, a very, very well-run meet. It's like, oh my God, you got to start warming up.
Yeah, you got to.
And then once it was boom. And I was one of 2 people in wraps.
Yeah,
because it was a USPA meet.
3 people in wraps.
So it was
50-person meet.
Load the bar, next guy up. And I was in the third flight. I was one of the first lifters in the third flight as the heavyweight at 242. And squats went great. I got red lighted on the first one because my wrist wrap touched the bar, so that's awesome.
USPA strict.
Yeah, bench didn't suck. Kind of with Zach, we're building it. The thing is, it doesn't hurt anymore. I used to be able to bench, anytime I got over 210, I could muscle it up, and then I'd take months off because my shoulder and elbow hurt. But deadlift, kind of smoked the opener. He's like, you're not supposed to set PRs for reps in the warm-up area, but it felt great. Mm-hmm. And then going into that fourth one, we had not planned to go over 400. And you hit me in the chest and you said, you got out of fucking bed to deadlift 400 today.
Let's go.
You put the number in.
Let's go. I love it.
and I smoked it, and I screamed so loud. Thankfully, I didn't get red lighted for swearing and almost dropped in a bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was hooked. And so that was January, and then we turned right around and did the USPA event in
pretty quick.
April.
And that was the one in the hotel.
That was one at the hotel,
right.
the War.
I'm remembering.
And that was the one at which
yes.
I set all the state records for masters. Full disclosure, there weren't any, but they're mine, so come and get them.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. All right.
And we just didn't know, right?
Yeah,
I mean, all my lifts at the first meet would have been state masters records at 242, and that was part of the reason why we decided not to cut to 220. Was that I wanted the records because I was 44, and I was like, this is my last year to get them. And we looked at the 220 numbers and like, whoever this guy is a beast, and
Yeah, he's
I got
strong.
no chance.
Yeah,
So
we just stayed up.
I that day I think I set 7 state records.
Yeah.
My squat opener, unfortunately, was the only one that counted. I got red lighted for depth on the second squat, and the third squat, I'm still mad about it, but they called me for jumping the re-rack.
Yep. So we jumped. We jumped first attempt. We got it. Second attempt, depth, but you still made it look great. I
Still
thought.
looked
So
great
we still
and jumped.
jumped, and then
Yep.
it was 40 because it was your first time over 4, right?
Yeah. Was
407?
it 397? Hold on, we'll check the
Oh, it wasn't
files.
quite 4.
Yeah, it wasn't 4.
was
The first time
almost
I ever
4.
did 4 was the week you tore your bicep.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Let's see here. So 391.5.
Yes, that's right. That's
So
right.
177.5.
So Mike on his third attempt, I still remember it was like heartbreaking because he smoked it. It was great depth.
Yeah.
Grinded through it, 397, and then
my hamstring cramped up, and so I took started to take a step forward to steady the bar, and then the spotters grabbed the bar and the lift was over, and I didn't have the re-rack command. We talked to the judges, it's fine. But I
tough.
got it, and so we knew
was
that
tough.
not having a great lift, that 400 was definitely a possibility.
there.
And then bench was good. That was the first time I did over 200 in a competition. Since it was a state record attempt, I got a fourth attempt.
That's right. That's right.
So I got 203.
You got all 4 attempts.
I got all 4 on
Yeah.
bench. I got
Yeah.
all 4 on bench.
Yeah.
And then deadlift, got all 3, went for a 4th. It wasn't even close, but I wanted it just in
Yeah.
case.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, you lifted.
Thankfully I didn't hurt myself.
11 lifts that day.
Yeah, 11 lifts.
That's amazing.
And then lunged afterwards
Yes.
in the parking lot to get my lunges in.
I still remember.
And
It was
then
hot
fast forward to the end of the year. So I did 3 meets
within a year.
in 2022,
Yeah, basically.
and I did the RPS meet in December, and didn't cut, but the weight loss was planned. Made it under 220, 218.8 on weigh-in, and then had the goal. And I told Zach when we talked, almost 2 years ago for the first time. I'd been following Corey's Get Stacked for 3 years after I stumbled on him on bodybuilding.com. And, that first ever Turkey Classic I ever did, I was 922. And I'm like,
Total.
I mean, I had no idea that I could do that. I'd never barbell trained in my life. I was the kid in high school that couldn't bench the bar. I mean, shout out to all the nerds. Tried once, couldn't bench the bar, never went back.
Yeah.
Tried some weightlifting or, I guess, weight training, not weightlifting, weight training in med school as a way to get rid of stress. Screwed up my shoulder, learning how to bench by watching bros learn how to bench, right? 90 degrees and straight out, right?
Yeah,
That's what you're
yeah.
supposed to do. And then
Super
so
safe.
so I'd never back squatted in my life or deadlifted anything until 6.5 years ago. So that's kind of, as I say, my midlife crisis was discovering powerlifting. And but I told Zach, he said, what do you want? I said, I think I've gone as far as I can with, just for the masses programming, and I don't know what my weaknesses are. I've been reading all of Louis' books, and I don't know how to train for weaknesses because I don't know what they are, and I need somebody to help me. No. I'd had a previous coach, made some progress, but it didn't work out. Just wasn't a good fit, and found Zach, and I said, I want 1,000 pound total before I turn 45, and we made it by 6 weeks.
Little did you know you'd be doing a bodybuilding show.
Yeah, and then for not even a week or two after that meet, so I got 1,003.
Yeah, it was a great day, Mike. It was
so squat.
It was one of the best days of my coaching. I was so happy, man. So happy.
Squat was 414, and probably had more.
Probably had more. I mean,
but the day was built around the total.
Yeah, that's
now
what we're
if we'd have
focused on.
known that bench was going to suck and only get my opener, we probably would have gone up on the squat, because my opener I think was 355 plus minus, and it was nothing. And even the judge,
squat, yeah,
squat.
yeah,
And the judges were like,
What?
"That was your opener?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah. You just had the juice that day, Mike.
And then the second was I didn't wait for the squat command, even though I smoked it. So again, we jumped. They're like, "You've got this," and we said we're going for the what do we call it, the 3B, and 414, 413, whatever it is in kilos, and crushed it. Bench was I got my opener. It felt great, and we don't know what happened on the second and third attempts, and so now we're looking at I gotta hit a PR for deadlift to get 1,000. And I don't know how many.
Mike came to play, man.
I don't know how many times we did that math with the judges or the scorers table to make sure that yes, because the kilos are the pounds, and that 1,003, and I crushed my deadlift. It was 408.
Yeah, smoked it.
And that was I think only the second time I'd ever deadlifted. Both times I've deadlifted 400 were in the meets.
At a meet.
403 and
That's
408.
good programming, right? Building up to the meet, we're doing PRs, right?
Yep. All my PRs are in meets. I don't have any gym 1 rep max PRs.
Sure. Yeah, Mike and I train very conjugate based still.
Yes.
We do a lot of variations, very similar to West Side, and get stacked. But at the end of the day, man, it's like that's what we're peaking towards is the meet. So, I think
I love it. I love the prep. Like Corey says, put a date on the calendar. It's something to train for. You got to show up. I wasn't a great athlete in high school. I was kind of like the 12th man on the soccer team and a really good JV tennis player, and it wasn't my focus. Sure. Obviously, things worked out, I guess.
Sure.
But I've always been a performer, whether it was music or plays or speeches or whatever. And I think I show up to meets and I can do things that I didn't know I could do. I mean, every meet, I've absolutely smoked my openers for squat and deadlift. And someday maybe bench will get there too.
Yeah. You and me
and
both,
then
man.
and then it's just like, all right, and to have somebody like Zach that can just on the fly say, no, you got this. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yep.
To be able to look and watch and in seconds, you've got 60 seconds to turn in your next lift.
I'm gonna be confident with what I'm gonna do.
And the other cool thing is, I think at the first meet, the kilos to pounds, and it was, my first meet, and it's just like, I didn't even know what the numbers were. I just went up to the bar. Plus, they got the red plates, not the blue plates, and you can't do the plate math. And I'm like, what was that? He's like, don't worry about it. And I'm like, okay. And then for that third deadlift, he's like, you got out of, it's still one of the best things anybody's, you got out of bed today to deadlift 400 pounds. And, I think that was a 10-pound reach, and I got it.
Did it. I believed in it, Mike. And
I know.
Sometimes that's all you need, right?
Just tell me what to do and I'll go do it.
Yeah, I do that with a lot of my in-person clients. I'm like, just lift the bar and we'll go from there. If you get it up, we'll talk about it. But listen, I think my favorite thing about Mike is just his ability to get uncomfortable. I mean, we're about to step on stage now tomorrow.
No, it's
emergency MD, and he's getting on a bodybuilding stage, competing now in 3 full competitions, powerlifting, and
I got a lot of friends at work. I've worn them all.
This is the coolest part of our relationship, man. Hearing about your peers and what they think about you.
I've got a workout group chat on WhatsApp with a bunch of colleagues, coworker, faculty, not the residents. And it's called People Actually Work Out, and all of us do different things. I'm a power lifter, and I guess now a bodybuilder. Another friend is a runner. Another friend is a MMA kickboxer. The other two just do general fitness stuff because they like to work out. But yeah, I mean, emergency medicine, we're all pretty outgoing, athletic, competitive people.
Imagine competitive, right? That's probably what breeds emergency medicine.
Yeah, no,
right?
we're super competitive, and we've got a few other residents. A lot do CrossFit. CrossFit's kind of pretty big.
Sure.
With
high intensity. That makes sense.
Get in, get out, get it done. But they comment on my posts, and I've warned them all. Hey, if you don't want to see me in a Speedo, scroll quickly the next couple days.
There's gonna be a lot of people screenshotting tomorrow.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, one of our nurses people gonna slip money up in there. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how it goes. Maybe
I love it.
If people like what they see,
yeah, they'll pay for all those competition fees, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been hard the prep. There have been a couple days this month where at work I didn't feel great, and I had to say I got to eat something because I never felt unsafe, but you got to be careful, especially when you're training training physicians, training medical students, right? Words matter, and sometimes maybe didn't say things as well as I should have. So to all my residents and the med students and the nurses, I'm sorry for the last month.
You're sweet.
Yeah.
This is a real conversation. I think Mike and we had this. I told Mike when he asked me about doing bodybuilding it's something I've competed in and done the powerlifting side, and I feel comfortable coaching someone on both. And the first thing I said to Mike, I remember, is like, let's do this safely, right?
Yes.
At the end of the day, and Mike, family and work always come first. These are things
Every
that
time.
we're doing to get uncomfortable. And I was never like, Mike, no to this, no to that. Like, Mike knew, and this is a great thing about training someone for 2+ years. He knows what he should be doing and how he should be feeling. I encourage people, like, you still know your body best. I'm just trying to help kind of show you the
It was
path.
that one Wednesday morning is like, I really don't think I'm being a little bitch. I needed some oatmeal. I was genuinely like lightheaded,
Yeah, not feeling good, man.
not feeling great, and like it was a in-person teaching day. Like, I got to run a skill station for the next 5 hours. I need something to eat.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's okay. I was like, thank you. But I'm still worried, right? Because it wasn't
Yes.
on the program. But like, I've been doing this long enough, I guess. Like, no, this is not just, you overdid it.
Yeah.
It's like, I needed some oatmeal, and I got, a cup of oatmeal and, a little bit of peanut butter.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And
Fine.
it just needed a little bit.
Yeah.
A couple other days I felt like I was going to puke, like, oh, is this what morning sickness feels like? I just need some saltines, and I ate a couple graham crackers out of the patient drawer, and I felt a little better, and I didn't puke. And they're like, okay, this is what the bottom feels like.
Yeah. Peak week
And
is a little
then
tough.
it took a couple days. It was what, 3 weeks ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just, okay, this is, and he's like, all right, we're going to start eating, a banana before you train, and that made all the difference. Instead of
Pre-workout
doing
carbs,
the
baby.
Corey's anabolic fasting, some variations still.
Sure.
But for my life and my crazy swing schedule, right? Because I work all shifts, right? I don't just work day shifts, or I work day
Mike's
shifts and
everywhere.
afternoons.
Mike,
and
you've had to balance this all.
overnights, and Zach's like, when are you training tomorrow? I was like, I don't know, let me see what time I work. Like, oh, okay, well, this is when I'm training. But I've missed, I think, other than the week I had COVID a year ago, I've missed one workout in the 2 years we've been together. And it was one of those stupid little things at the end of a workout. Some sandbag stuff, just got out of position and tweaked my back and took the next day off. And that's it.
I remember.
Yep.
I think the important thing to focus on here, Mike, and we've talked about this enough. This is for all the people out there, but it's just the transformation Mike's made and his ability to get uncomfortable and get on stage, right? Like, I'm so proud of you, man. You've hit 200 pounds. Like you said,
200.8 this morning.
when was the last time you've seen that?
Summer of 2015,
Yeah,
which
that's great.
was the summer I tore my ankle doing a box jump. And then that kind of was I hate to say a downward spiral, but it really was. So tore my ankle doing a box jump. Still worked the overnight shift an hour after that in a wheelchair because it wasn't broken. So I was like, well, I can still see patients in a wheelchair. So I did. And
Did
then,
people look at you funny? Like,
oh yeah,
what
no,
the
it's
hell?
like it was a busy night. It was a Friday night, and we're a trauma center, and I was like, well, if I have to stand up, I'll stand up to do a procedure, but I can wheel myself around, see patients, and then I got in a boot and had my scooter for the next 10 weeks or whatever it was, and
Made it
and
happen.
then
You're like,
kind
I'm
of-
living it.
kind of that process pushed my elbow over the edge, and
Yeah.
that was when I was really just on my own, just YouTubing, trying to learn deadlifts and squats. So I guess to go back, got really college and med school and residency was not a great time physically.
Yes.
I wanted to work
You-
out.
I mean, you can't, right?
Well,
I mean,
I
it's,
know,
it's tough.
but
It's
yeah.
it-
Well,
it's,
I see people that did, and
Sure,
but,
sure, okay.
I mean, I was married in med school, and we had our son at the end of med school, and our
Mm-hmm.
daughter at the end of residency, and
different priorities. That's
yeah,
all it is.
no. So, but kind of it's actually this month, 13 years, kind of rediscovered fitness with the P90X craze. So did some people at work is like, I don't know.
Remember,
I-
I did it. I did
yeah,
it.
and
It was like my intro to
if you
fitness.
if you go to my Instagram and you see my garage gym now, 13 years ago it was 2 pairs of dumbbells and a pull-up bar, and that's what I did. And then
That's amazing.
I did all the Beachbody programs, all the P90Xs, all the Shaun T Insanity and Asylums, which I loved. And then kind of what really ignited the passion that I didn't know I had was Beachbody came out with a program called Body Beast, which was by a former bodybuilder, and it was all strength training.
Okay.
And it was supersets and trisets, and but high reps, so dumbbells with an easy curl bar. And I quickly got to the point that training by myself in the basement, squatting with 90-pound dumbbells was not taxing, and benching 70s by myself. I was like, this isn't really that safe. And so, I had the same Dick's rack that everybody probably had at some point.
I remember.
and bought my first crap barbell from Dick's, that chrome-plated piece of crap. And bought some Rogue bumper plates and, that was the first time in my life I'd ever back squatted or deadlifted a barbell.
Do you have any photos like that original?
I probably could find some.
What we'll do is I'll have you send me a photo of maybe your garage. Mike has a really, really cool garage gym. And actually, right after this is adding some more stuff too.
Oh yeah, no. When in Columbus, I just I can't not go to the Rogue store. So I guess that's the big thing is that after each of these meets, I kind of reward myself for the effort.
Great
So
reward.
picking up a yoke, picking
good
up a yoke,
purchase.
and of course some more calibrated plates because. I know iron is iron, but man, they look so nice. And
Listen,
And
man,
it's-
for
and it's the way you
powerlifting-
train.
Yeah,
the
listen,
way you train.
Listen, in powerlifting, I'm telling you, man, there is a difference between lifting with iron plates,
yep,
more diameter out, than the calibrated plates.
even though
more
they don't
diameter
seem
and-
that thick, but yeah, especially on deadlift, you feel the difference.
Extremely, man.
Where that, obviously the center mass is always in the center of the bar, but where that flex point and the whip point is, even with the deadlift bar, 445s versus calibrated 55s, I can feel it, and it's not a mental thing. So yeah, heading to the Rogue store after this. Hopefully, I will just drive up and not then go inside and buy more things. But I make no promises.
We'll see.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah,
You're in a good
it's
mood.
and then to the hotel and
Yeah.
be ready. But yeah, I definitely, I'm sure on my phone or on my old, probably an old computer, I've got some videos of.
That early time.
I certainly have videos of the first Turkey Classic.
Yeah.
That was actually the day. The reward that day was I ordered Rogue's Matte Black Friday. I ordered the 5 things shipped for $5. I ordered the real rack, the West Side bench.
Oh wow! Oh, big order.
Oh yeah, it came on a pallet and everything, and there was no way.
Wow.
There was no way to hide that when it showed up.
Yeah, Pam's like,
what?
Oh, this
what
is real.
Just happened. And then, I should have just started a gym. I had 2 racks and 3 benches, and I think for anybody that gets serious, I didn't know I was going to be serious. I've definitely replaced everything that I've originally bought at least once. With better racks, better bars. I've become quite a barbell whore. I love barbells, and I use them
Who
all.
doesn't,
I guess if not, I use them all because Zach programs them. But I fully embraced from a distance the conjugate 4 a.m. crew get stacked and okay, so it's a different bar this week for squat. Okay, I guess I want it, but I earned them. Like the safety squat bar. Pre-pandemic was the first time I'd been under 220 in, 3 or 4 years. And then the squat bar, the 55-pound squat bar was got to be under 215. And it doesn't seem like a big deal. And, things have gone up and down. But, I don't. And then, I guess last summer I bought a bunch because I was sad my son was going to college. Little retail therapy from Rogue.
Nothing's wrong with that, Mike.
Yeah,
Listen, if it results in you exercising, it's a good thing, right?
Yeah, and I have friends that come over now that we're 3 years in the pandemic, and we train, and residents come over, and one of my partners came over for a bench day, and dude, seriously, you don't have. And he was a former D1 college football player, and he was dying, and he's like, I can't believe you do this every day, and it's like, no, now I'm gonna go lunge.
Yeah, you weren't done even.
No, and the next day, I saw him. I texted him. Was like, "How you doing?" He's like, "My wife hates you."
Oh my god.
He's like, I can't move.
He's done.
And he benched more than me.